These people fighting over here. Oh, Lord. They don't fight, but they do things, that are racial, and I have to calm them down. My other neighbor told me I was a racist. But I didn't like white people. I said, well, cool. I didn't like my grandfather, and he was Scottish. Duh.
All right, we ready to roll?
Yes, we are.
All right, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome everyone to another edition of Lupus Talks. My name is Ed Peterson. Just so happy that we're able to do this show every week and put out there some information in reference to lupus and how you can benefit with tools and tips and information that's going to help you as well along the way. Just to live a quality lifestyle and have a good opportunity to be sharing with others as we continue on. We're streaming live on YouTube currently right now, and you guys can always get on there and check it out. And you can also go to the website at lupusofnevada.org. Ms. Dr. Calvin Williams is the host. I'm going to let her take it away. Go ahead, Dr. Williams.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. This is so exciting for me because we're going to talk about Nevada. We're going to talk about the R. Let me get it right. Let me get my mind ready, y'all. That's that lupus fog. We're going to recap and talk about the drug things that are happening in our neck of the time with the PBMs, okay? I'm going to read part of the letter to you because it was difficult at first. I'm part of the delegation that sent a letter out under our leadership that we have, and she might chime in at any time. In the remaining days of the 119th Congress, we, the undersigned organizations, strongly encourage you to prioritize legislation that will lower prescription drug costs for Nevada citizens. Specifically, we urge you to pass a measure that will address the anti-consumer business practices and pharmacy benefit managers, the PBMS, and their indefensible proliferating at the expense of patients and consumers. What that means is at our expense, we're paying for this. So there's a time to do this. This is time to do it before the congressional adjournment because the groundwork has already been done. Multiple Senate and House committees have conducted hearings on PBM business practices, complying excessive evidence of their manipulation of the prescription drug pricing system. Yes, you heard me, manipulation. Legislation has been marked up by the committees in both houses. What we have learned about PBMS through the process is disturbing and calls for immediate action immediately. I'm going to give you the recap now. The PBM reform at the federal level has never been closer to reality than now. But we need to encourage the Nevada delegation to pass PBM reform in this Congress. We were invited to sign the letter, and certainly Lupus Nevada did. We don't have much time. If you'd like to call your congressional people and talk about, what's going on with the PBM, I suggest you do that. The actual signing of the letter and the deadline is Tuesday, December 3rd. Now, we need to also be aware that, and I'm going to get over here. Here it is, the recap. We also need to be aware this is very important for us unless you guys want to pay more drug money. And I don't think any of us want to do that because we're on a senior budget. So we are, as they said, we are excited to announce our upcoming show focusing on educational topics related to lupus, autoimmune diseases, and we invite guests to share their insights on important subjects such as Social Security, healthcare, and join us for an informative discussion. That's what we want to do now. We want to have an informative discussion. We just don't want to do all the talking. If you'd like to write in and we announce the question on there, we'd be more than happy. Number one, and this is major, market control. 6 PBMs dominate over 90% of the prescription drug market, creating, they said, uh, uh, creating women, creating oligopoly. I'm gonna try to pronounce that, oligopoly, that lacks transparency and oversight. Their vertical integration with health insurers and provider groups further consolidates their control over American healthcare. Drug formula, drugs formularies, drugs formularies. PBS influence drug formularies to steer patients toward higher priced medications from which they receive significant discounts and rebates. They often limit access to cheaper alternatives, including generics and biosimilars. 3, impact on independent pharmacies. This is very important. Independent pharmacies are facing several financial challenges, and many closing due to lack of reimbursements from the PBMs and the diversion of patients to the PBM own mail order and specialty pharmacies. And I have that, the mail order. This negativity affects underserved communities by reducing access to essential healthcare resources. So if we don't have the resources to get our medication, we're not going to have anything. We're going to be actually more ill than we are now. Legislative alert. Number 4, recent Senate and House committees have approved several PBM reform measures. Notably, 2 bills have passed unanimously through the Senate Finance Committee. 2973, Modernizing and Ensuring PBM Accountability Act, MEPA. Bill number 3430, Better Mental Health Care, Lower Cost Drugs and Extenders Act, Better Act. Number 5, the key provisions, ending revenue leakage. The legislation proposes to decouple PBM revenues from drug prices, establishing a fair fee structure for their services. This aims to eliminate incentives for PBMs to promote more expensive drugs. Passing savings to patients. It mandates that negotiated rebates and discounts be directly passed on to patients at the pharmacy counter, rather than being retained by the PBMs. Number 6, urgent, and I mean urgent need for reform. Urgent. Patients, especially seniors on fixed income, may excessively, they need their medications. And many are resorting to cutting pills or skipping prescriptions due to cost, highlighting the urgent need to reform in the prescription drug pricing system. And that was me. And at one time, I had to cut my pills in half because I could not afford to buy the medication that was given to me. I just couldn't do it. And then there was some things passed, and I was able to get my full pill. I was able to get my medication, and I just thank God for that. But there was a time that I had to cut my pills in half. Either it was eating, either you choose to eat a meal, or either you cut half of a pill, either or. Because if you cannot get any more of those pills because of the pricing, that's a problem for us, a big problem. So as we are calling to action with significant groundwork laid for PBM reform, there is a strong push to prioritize prescription drug affordability in the remaining days. And it is called prescription drug affordability in the 118 Congress to advance reforms that could greatly benefit constituents, particularly in Nevada. This is so important. Just because you don't live in Nevada doesn't mean you can't support the cause, because I'm sure all of us are being hit all over the United States with this measure. I'm sure we are. We are just getting up and fighting like we usually do when we went to Carson City and we fought. So we need to continue our fight up so we can actually have affordability, in the remaining days of 118 Congress. We need to have that affordability so we will not just be out there and not know what to do. Recently, I met this lady at Winco, and her walker was laying down, just laying down. And my brother, my baby brother, was running after the potatoes, sweet potatoes. Because every time she put something in the basket, it rolled off. So everything was rolling off, and my brother was catching it, running, catching it, running, catching it. And then he was putting it in little plastic bags. This lady did not have a walker. She had actually spent this year, she had just got it. She paid $55 for it. Under her insurance and Medicare, they were not going to give her another walker. That's just the bottom line. The insurance wasn't going to pay for it. And as we know, those walkers are expensive. They've gotten more and more expensive. So we were able to, I thank God for that. I put some pointers out to some very dear friends of mine, and we're able to get her a walker the first week of December, which is going to be wonderful because she's a little old lady. She's 83, 84 years old, and it's just not fair for that walker to be laying out. She can't sit in it. The basket she once had is all tore up. She did purchase that walker this year. So I just want to let everyone know that this is the season for us to be giving to one another. It really is. If you can't give it, find someone else who can. Talk to people. People are willing to do what they need to do to help. And that's why I'm asking in relation to the PBMs, I want everyone to understand that, over 90% of prescription drug market, creating a powerful anarchy that avoids transparency, and has invaded overnight. It's invaded overnight. And though vertical integration with health insurers, health providers, groups, and group purchasing organizations, the PBMs are increasingly control the broad spectrum of American healthcare. Did you hear me? The broad spectrum. PBMs use their control of drug formalities to push patients toward the higher priced drugs on which the PBMs have demanded sizable discounts and rebates from manufacturers. At the same time, the PBM middleman uses these formularies to restrict access to less expensive alternatives, including generics and biosimilars. Independent pharmacies in Nevada and throughout the nation are struggling financially, with some closing their doors permanently. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, it is struggling all over the country. And we have seen some doors being closed permanently here in Nevada because PBMs are squeezing the low reimbursements and steering patients toward their own mail orders, and specialty pharmacies. This robs undeserved communities of vital health care resources, and it does. Several PBM reform measures have been approved by the Senate, the House committees during the session of Congress. We encourage you and your colleagues to support a measure that will embody the provisions included in the two bills passed unanimously by the Senate Finance Committee, the S9, the S2973, that's one of them, and Modernizing and Ensuring PBM Accountability Act, which I said that's the MEPA, and S3430, the Better Mental Health Care, Lower Cost Drugs and Extenders Act, which is the Better ACT. Among the provisions in both bills are two that make an immediate difference in the health and finances of your constituents. First, the legislature would end the leakage would end that leakage between drug prices and PBM revenues, establishing a system in which PBMs would be paid a flat fair fee for services they provide. No longer will PBMs be incentivized to steer patients to more expensive drugs and boost PBM profits. Second, the measure would mandate that negotiated rebates and discounts be passed along to patients at the pharmacy counter instead of being kept in the PBM coffers. Now we know what we're talking about. We're talking about people that want to keep the money to themselves, and here we are sitting up here trying to figure out what we're going to do. Every time I go to the pharmacy, I do ask now. I said, do I have to pay for that medication there, or has my insurance written that off? And they said, your insurance is taking care of it, Calvinia. Because there's some, I remember my brother going there with his defibrillator and his pacemaker, and there's an expensive drug he had to buy. It was too expensive for him to talk about. Now, I don't know if it was $1,000 or whatever, but there's going to be a time if we don't support these measures that drugs are going to be so high that we're not going to be able to purchase them. A lot of people depend on the Medicare. A lot of people depend on the Medicaid. But if we don't join together to make a difference in our lives and senior lives and lives all over the country, we are going to be in trouble. Now, this is urgent matter, you guys. It's an urgent matter. Everyday patients, many of them seniors or fixed incomes, are paying significantly more out of their pockets than they should for the medicines they need. Many people are cutting pills, like I said, in half and foregoing their prescriptions altogether because they can't afford them. People are hurting. People are hurting because of our broken prescription drug pricing. So much work has already been done on PBM reform over the past 2 years. Let's get the legislation across the finish line, you guys. We got to cross that finish line. Most of you look at football. I'm sure you're going to look at the football this weekend. They crossed that finish line. That's touchdown. We need to make a touchdown instead of asking the next Congress to start over. And we know what that's about. We start asking, if we've got it already done, then what we need to do, get it finished. So that's about all the information there. Now I'm going to another article, another news cap that we need to do. So anyway, if anyone would like this information, we're more than willing to send it to them, give them the resources, where it came from, and just make sure that we are aware. We have to be aware of things like this. You know, I struggle trying to get through this news, trying to get through these precarious things in this report. But then I finally realized what it was. So it takes us time, especially those of us who have lupus, takes us time to really recap on, okay, this is what they're saying. You're going to pay more money if you don't sit up there and support the need of, trying to come together and make a difference. Okay, the next news article, which is really, I'm so excited about, it talks about the world first discovery offers potential cure for lupus. Did you hear me? The world first discovery offers potential cure for lupus. And when they said potential cure, I was there. Now, what they're talking about, this is happening in Australia. The researchers in Australia from Monash University have made a groundbreaking discovery that could lead to effective long-term treatment for lupus, an autoimmune disease with no current cures. Published in the Nature's Communication, the study reveals a method of reprogram the defective immune cells of lupus patients using protective molecules from healthy individuals. The approach aims to restore the immune system's ability to prevent autoimmunity, which occurs when the body attacks its own cells. The researchers found that lupus patients lack specific regulatory T cells. Tregs is what they call it, T-regs, that help prevent autoimmune responses. By reprogramming the Tregs of lupus patients in the lab, they were able to halt the progression of lupus kidney disease without the use of harmful autoimmune suppressants. That's excellent. I can't say enough about it. That's excellent. I'm reading me in it. I don't have kidney problems, but you never know with our patients running around with a lot, especially the men have a lot of kidney problems. Associate Professor Joshua Wu described this as a reset of the immune system, liken it to a major software update. Approximately 1 in 1,000 Australians is affected by lupus, with higher rates observed in First Nations communities and predominance among females aged 15 to 45. The research team included co-senior author Professor Eric Morand is designing clinical trials expected to begin in 2026 to investigate the long-term efficiency of this treatment. Now, the study not only offers hope for lupus patients, but also the potential to be adapted for other autoimmune diseases such as diabetes, rheumatoid arthritis, and multiple sclerosis. Co-first authors, Peter Eguzen, and I know I'm messing up his name, please forgive me, sir. It's Eggenhuizen, and Dr. Rachel Chung expressed confidence that this treatment could be tailored to address up to 100, do you hear me? 100 other autoimmune conditions, emphasizing its targeted nature that aims to preserve the overall immune system. And a lot of us have immune problems. The transformational research was supported by various national and international agencies, including Lupus Research Alliance, and has garnered recognition through awards such as 2022, the Victoria Prize for Science and Innovation in Life Sciences. The study highlights the significant potential of personalized medicine in treating complex autoimmune disorders. And we know they are complex. We know they are. So I gave you just a glimpse of that and we had to break it down into what you would understand and what I would understand, because they go into the studies and all that. And I just like to get to the bottom of it and just put it together and figure out, what's happening. What are we going to do? What is it saying? Because when we get I guess would it be novice? We're people that it's hard to understand it. It's hard to understand if we don't ask around and we don't try to get the information we need. Now, I want to go over here for a minute, and that is, I always talk about that. What is systemic lupus? SLE is a disease in which your own immune system defense system attacks your body and creates inflammation in the skin, joints, blood vessels, veins, and arteries, and internal organs. That's important. We should know that. Definitely the ones walking around here with lupus. What is my immune system? This is the part of your body that normally defends against infections such as viruses and bacteria. Now, when you have SLE, your defense system is overactive. Mine's overactive, it's overactive, and begins to attack its own body. So mine's overactive and it just attacks and attacks and attacks. Now, you want to ask, what's inflammation then? So we go into this and it says, when you fall or scrape your knee, sometimes it becomes swollen, red, and has fluid. This is the type of inflammation similar to what happens in the blood vessels of your body when you have SLE, except that there is no fall trauma or infection that causes it. Blood vessels become dilated, white blood cells and other proteins of the immune system evade the area and cause damage. It causes damage. Now, the next question you might want to ask, how do doctors know I have SLE? Well, there are a number of symptoms or SLE, or SLE. However, again, there are a number of symptoms on SLE. However, there are only 11 criteria that are used to diagnose SLE, and you must have at least 4 that are not explained by other medical reasons. And they include, and let me tell you where I'm getting this from so you'll know, questions and answers for children and young adults with SLE. And this is from the Lupus, it says LUPUS international.com. lupusinternational.com. I'm reading from here. You might want to look it up, see if you can get it. lupusinternational.com. And it's well put together so people can understand it. Now, a malar rash, sometimes called a butterfly rash over the cheeks, is like this. It's over on your cheeks. You could look at it and it raises up, just like you got wings right there. Discoid rash is red raised patches that may look like quarters. Photosensitivity is like when you go in your doctor's office and they have those lights up there, fluorescent, or they're just so light, they're so bright, and they can actually bring on a flare. And they have them on, and I know they have to examine us, but it brings on headaches, and I get headaches really bad. And most of the time I tell them, can you turn that off? Can you work without, that bright light there, because it's giving me a flare. The next thing that we look at is oral. It is called oral ulcers. Some of the ulcers in my mouth, there's some in my mouth, in my nose. They're like bumps circling around. They're like bumps. A lot of us that have lupus have the darkness around our chin. People say, well, what? So I'm always putting cream to try to discolor that area, but it's all this, and it's darkness. It's the darkness around the eyes as well, working with that constantly, and that is our lupus SLE. And that is the darkness that is, around the jaw, around the lips, and you can work with it to try to, give a clearer complexion on it. That's why I'm always working on my complexion every day. Arthritis, swelling and pain in the joints. I have that now. The swelling and pain in your shoulder joints, all over in your neck, in your thighs, in your legs, your feet, all of it. So I'm always looking online, trying to find something that I can use. And those of you that I used to get to my doctors. Now I don't get to them. I have to wait 9 months. Go figure. So I don't ask for nothing. I just start researching, because anytime you can't get to your doctor till January, until 7 months, you got a problem. You got a problem. That was from last year up until now. So, and that's my opinion, and I can back it. So we are looking at cirrhosis, inflammation around the lung or heart. You've got pericarditis, and I definitely have that. Every time I go in, when I used to go in the hospital, they could tell I had pericarditis. I had inflammation of the chest cavity, and they did what they needed to do to try to help me. I can't remember what they did, but I know like now my breathing goes down to 66, 76, 84, and I'm trying to get an oxygen tank that I so badly need. And we went through all the formalities, all of them. and people are blaming it on each other now. Well, she has to do this. I did that. Well, she has to give me $300 on 15 containers, 15, what are they, containers, containers. And then we will give her the portable oxygen. When? When? 20 years from now? I have went through this constantly. I have been in there for them to test my lung. I've done so much, and it's a personal thing with me, so I can talk about it. It's personal. So what I tend to do is I have a condenser up against my wall, and I'll do that at night or in the day when it gets really bad. I have crushed ice. I crush ice, and I'm drinking ice and water constantly to help my airwaves. Esophagus is narrow, so when I eat certain food, it will go down into another area, and I have to drink something to try to clear that up. And so that's something else. They did it before by opening up my esophagus and making it wider, so I can actually, when I cut my food up, I can actually have food going down my throat into my digestive functions in my body. So now we're looking at renal disease, and that shows it's by the amount of protein, blood, and/or cast. Let me put my other glasses on because I'm having issues. Let's see if this will do it. Okay. Renal disease shown by the amount of protein, blood, and/or cast in the urine and/or abdominal renal biopsy. Now, when we go to the restroom and urinate, a lot of folks with kidney situations with lupus, we actually, we can smell our protein. And we definitely let our doctors know that. If there's a problem with the protein, we ask them, we say we got problems. And then they can tell by the blood test and by the urine, when we give them the urine cup, they can tell with that. What I tend to do for me is drink lots of water, not hydrating water. Everybody know I'm a Fiji girl, Fiji. I'll drink that, or I'll drink what my son gave me out of this huge machine, and it's supposed to be really clean and all that. So I'll drink that, and usually I drink something like this a day, so I'm okay. And I do exercises. So you guys didn't have me mention any exercises, and that's an important thing to do. I needed to do exercises, and I do them. I do leg exercises in the bed, raising the calf leg, up and down, and do it about 20 times on one side, 20 on the other side. If you can't get up and do it like I can't, I'll do it in the bed. If you're sitting down in a chair, you can raise your leg up a little bit and go up and down, up and down, up and down. And you make sure you exercise your toes, because that arthritis, and that I have neuropathy, which is real bad. And so I'm exercising my toes and doing like 50 on each of on both feet, on my toes to keep them active, because that's important as well. If you become a total stone person, and I'm not making fun of anyone with these diseases that our bodies actually turn into more stone than anything, forgive me. I'm saying my body is like a stone. It won't move. It won't move. It's hard for me to move, so I have to continue to stay exercised up. If I don't, I'll get to a problem where I have family here, and I'm getting ready to be a first-time grandma at Nana, I say, at August 28th. No, not August, January 28th. January 28th. So that's a good Christmas present for me. But still, I have help from family at times. My son will be in here next week. So if something happens and I can't move something, they're usually helping me. They're usually helping me and say, Mama, move it. You can move it. You can move it. You're a big girl. You're not a baby. But sometimes lupus people like to be babied. I'm going to tell you right now. We hurt so much in our bodies, you guys. It's so much. There's so much that we want to tell our families, and they don't want to listen, because most of the time they think that you're complaining about something. And I let everyone know that it's not a complaint. It's just that I want you to listen to me. The holidays are coming up, as we mentioned last last show. And there's going to be lots of people at your home, or you're going to go out and eat or whatever. Be very careful. I tell people I wear my mask until I get ready to eat. I'm not in a large crowd because, they claim there's pneumonia is out and about, and it's actually making a lot of people go into the hospital. So we need to be aware of that, but we need to also be aware of rest. After you come from dinner, or like I just cooked. I was cooking today. After I get off the phone, I've got more pies. I made 17 pies. I've got about 7 more to go. No, I got 5 more to go, and giving them out to family and friends. And it's hard on you. I made my greens and I made my pies. And what else I made? Oh, ambrosia salad. It's hard. People stop by in a minute and pick up that food, because I haven't made pies in about 7, 8 years. And I don't make my pies real sweet because I know a lot of people have diabetes. You can make them in a way that they are just fabulous without putting all that sugar in it. You do have to put a little bit of sugar, but you have to know what to put. I offset my pies with a special formula. So I call it formula, the special thing that my mom told me about. So my cousin just told me about in Chandler, Arizona. So also, let's go back to this neurologic seizures and psychosis, not explained by other medications or causes. And sometimes we go into psychosis. I've been there in psychosis. I have to see my psychiatrist once a month because things happen. You get foggy. It starts messing with your brain. You're not crazy. I'm going to say this to everyone. If you have a psychological problem, don't play with it. Don't say, oh, I don't have that. I don't have that. Don't do it. You need to get to the root of how you became ill, because if you don't, the authorities will. And I'm going to say that. We got a new regime coming in, and they're looking at everything. They're looking at Medicare, Medicaid. The seniors, we're kind of off we're in our land. We're seniors. But if you're the younger crowd and you have detailed information on your medical history, they are going to look at everyone's history. And I let people know it is not an embarrassment to deal with your mental situation. It's not. The big icons of the world that have passed on have had problems, stuttering problems and everything. Come on now. You had Moses run around who stuttered and had to have Aaron talk to him. So there are things that physically that are wrong with us, with having fog, having this, having that. Do things that are going to make you happy. Don't do things that's going to make other people happy all the time. You need to have a form of happiness in your brain. And it will help you in terms of whatever type of, and I'll say it, mental psychosis you're going through. If you just do you and understand who you are, do one thing that's good for you. I tend to put stickers all in I have my appointment books now. They're going back to the old days where we have our date books and keep it in our purse and write things down, what's important to us today, what we want to do today. And that's so important because it controls what you're doing, how you're doing it. You would be amazed how many people have given me so much love, so much expensive gifts just recently. I can't even mention them. I didn't ask for that, but if I can't use it, I'll give it away. If I can use it, I'll keep it. Because things I have in my room, I give it away. It made me feel good about the walker and that lady getting it. It made me feel so good because when it's the end days, end times, and we all gonna go back to that flower on top of that grave, we have to adhere to what we did while we were here. I know I might be stepping on somebody's toes, but you have to understand that there's more to life than just you. There's more to life than all about me, 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 me. When I said do something good for yourself, do it. Do something good for your family, do it. But do something good for you. If you live out of selfishness while you're here, what do you think is going to happen to you when you're gone? The hematologic is anemia. And anemia is from a breakdown of red blood cells, like leukemia, and that's decreased white blood cells. Leukemia disease is a specific type of white blood cell, or from bone leukemia, the bone cytopenia decreases its platelets, and that's what they look at us in my doctor would do, look at all my platelets and everything when I came in there from my blood tests and everything. Now, anti-nuclear antibodies, when they say ANA, that's the positive test of the IFA, which is so important. A positive anti-double-stranded DNA test, positive anti-SM test, positive, there's a lot of things in here that, I want you to read because it goes deep into it. And I want everybody to catch the bottom line that we're talking about today. So I definitely tell you to go get this, look it up. It's going to be on our website and you can read for yourself. I'm just highlighting things that are so important. Like people will say, can I be cured? Can I be cured? No. Since we don't know the specific cause of SLE, we can't be cured. However, treatment can bring it under control. But I want to say something. Excuse me, I had that stuff coming on. I was drug induced. So what is drug induced? Somebody gave me the wrong pill. Didn't happen in California. It happened in Nevada. When I came here, I was only on one pill. One pill was my, what was it? It was my thyroid pill. I have 28 pills now I take. I don't take drugs. So somebody did it. Now, maybe a good thing, the doctor that I'm not going to see, because I'm going to another insurance, you'll probably know it now if he hears the broadcast. He took me away 7 days from prednisone. I called them up, being a lupus advocacy and education awareness, and I bawled them out. You cannot throw me down as a cold turkey. You know what will happen to me? I'm taking 2 pills a day, 2.5 a day, and you just knocking me out. Plus, you took my Plaquenil away from me. That helps me with my, my bones and my arthritis. So I got 2 medications taken from me just wow, with no explanation. They just took it. I had to get on the phone and I had to speak and say what I had to say to them very nicely, but they heard what I was saying. You gonna do right by me or I'm gonna call the officials. I'm gonna call the White House, the legislature, I'm gonna call everybody because it's not right. And that's what we do at Lupus in Nevada, we fight. And you're not gonna take me off that. Do you know about a few days later, they sent me some pills and told me to take 2. The guy called me, not the nurse practitioner, and said, well, we're sending you some prednisone. You're going to take 2 of those pills for like 60 days, and then you're going to reduce down to 1 pill. And so I'm reducing down to 1 pill, and then after that, I'll be totally off of it. Now, the Plaquenil, I'm off of that period. And it's hard for me because it's hard for me to cope and walk around and, and my whole body's hurting, I'm in the kitchen cooking, and I love to cook when it's the holidays. My son revamped the whole house, so I'm having a ball in there. But I also have to hold on to things, y'all. So if you cooking and you got all these problems, all these diseases, autoimmune diseases, be aware. If you got the stove down, putting a turkey in, or putting a baked chicken in, or putting some greens in, or putting some pies in, be very aware that that door is open behind you. And be very aware that you have someone, like I have my younger brother, somebody in the kitchen with you. And I make that known. I'm in the kitchen, somebody need to be watching. They need to be watching. And that's what you need, a watcher. Don't get in there and try to do it all yourself, and then you fog out and trip over something. And that's to be known, because it does have a lot of injuries happen around the holidays. The hospital is packed in the emergency room. So again, I was drug induced. Don't know who. Maybe if they find the drug, the damage that I've had for 20 years in Nevada, if they find the drug, maybe my lupus will go. I prayed on it, cried on it, thought about it, angry. I was angry about it. It's just sad. I write an international Sarah Christian magazine. I'm one of their writers. And that's a free way. We get to write what we want to write. And I was so upset, I didn't know what to do. I got a book coming out too from the other books that are there, Loving God While Living with Lupus, and the Chris and Christina Have Lupus, and the manual for the parents. And there's this other one that's coming out. And really, I have 2 books online. I mean, not online, 2 books that I'm finishing up that I haven't even told Ed about it. So it's just, we got a lot of reality stories to tell y'all. You got a lot to talk about. How I talk to me is right. That's how I talk to me is right. Go in there and just write. But yes, I'm sad on certain times when I find out that I was drug induced. My son was highly upset. He asked for all my medication. He asked for this, the list. He wanted to know who did it. I said, well, and then I let him know. I said, well, I know it wasn't California, because I came out 1 pill with the autoimmune. All them pills they gave me now, that's why he asked for the list. So somebody did it. We don't know who, but maybe we can find out who did it. And then they can take care of it from there. I'm not talking about suing anybody. I'd like to ask them why. That's what I'd like to ask them, why. Why did it happen? Do you do all your patients like this, just play with their lives and give them this and that and this and that? That's why I'm seeing a psychiatrist right now. And I think it's so important to see that psychiatrist, because it is, it's a lot of things they do to us. Our bodies change, our minds change. The holidays, you're going to be thinking about your family. You're going to be thinking about things that have happened in your life. And that's why this is so important about, this book that I'm reading, and it says, why me? Why me? And it goes on to state, why me? We don't know the specific cause of SLE. We believe it is a combination of multiple factors. These include environmental, virus, sun, drug reactions, toxicity, hormones, puberty, and a genetic predisposition to have the immune system be overactive, It's not contagious, y'all. I hear people tell me at the store, oh, and a lot of people know me for 20 years here. So they said, don't back up like that on her. She already not feeling well. Don't make her feel like an alien. And we start laughing because it's not contagious. But people don't understand that. You'll be able to understand it if in fact you study it, if in fact you ask me, if in fact you get on Lupus of Nevada and read what we have. If you're interested in the autoimmune situation, because anybody can get it at any time. With them messing up in the air with a lot of things coming down, messing with our bodies, all of us are susceptible to everything. The water, the this, that. We're susceptible. You see all these programs on television. I don't like looking at thriller ones, but I'll look at the earthquakes and cyclones. And it's like, has anybody heard of a cyclone? A cyclone in the United States? Think about it. People have been talking about it. A cyclone. We knew cyclones way back there with Roman days, all of that. People talking about it. I might be educated on it. Please educate me. Please write me on Lupus in Nevada and tell me. Because I don't know everything, but I certainly would like somebody to mention that. You're talking about a cyclone. So we've got issues out there that we're dealing with. We've got people that we need to care about. You see older people walking, you need to help them. You need to make a difference in their lives. Because they will love on you more than anyone. If you've lost your parents and you talk to a senior citizen, oh my goodness, do you know the joy from that is? I'm 68 and I'm sure they tell me I'm a junior senior, but do you know the joy it is from that? Do you know? They start asking you about you, rather than them. I want to know about you. And you start telling them. And they give you stories and they give you homemade recipes and say, well, this is how you're going to do that. If you get a headache, make sure you do this, rub the alcohol here, do this, do that. I mean, it's beautiful. Every time I go in the store, my brother said, you talk to about 25 people before you roll out of here, because this is the time to share love with one another. And I want to say that to everyone. It's a time not to be about yourself, be stingy, be sarcastic, be mean, and just thinks about you, because you can drop in a minute and then you don't have anything. And I let people know that. We also talk about, will I be in remission forever? No. You'll most likely have flares at some point during your life, and you will need to restart medication. And because some of the medication we take are just, we're so immune to it, they have to increase it, they have to change. Medication is changing every day. I'm not going to say, if your doctor tells you you need to take this certain medication, please do. I'm not against medication. I have to take it to live, you know. My medication is medication. My main medication is God. That's what I tell people in a minute, Jesus Christ. That's my main medication. I pray over my medicine, and then I know what I need to do. Sometimes I forget, y'all, about my medication, about a sleeping pill, and I won't take it. That happened last night. I saw the medication on my bed, and I said, this is a sleeping pill. 9 times out of 10, you know what people do? People turn around and they'll put it in their mouth. Don't do that. If that medication been laying on your bed and you have no idea that you took it or not, put it up. Put it back where you think it belongs, and then take it tomorrow. It is not worth losing your life over taking a form of medication that you forgot about. So I just want to let you guys know that it's been fun talking to you and making a difference and letting people know that I'm not playing. I'm on this line because I'm not playing anymore. I'm not going to play with people anymore. I'm not going to giggle with them and all that. This is life. I thank Ed for this, because he's been with me since 2014. Yeah, 2004. It might have been earlier than that. See, I'm going into a fall thing.
2012, Dr. Williams.
I said I'm going into a fall thing, and he's been so diligent on getting the facts, just like an investigative reporter. Get the facts. And I'm doing just what I need to do. But I want to give it over to Ed and thank God and let everybody know to have a wonderful Thanksgiving and do something for yourself. Don't be getting into an argument at a table with somebody one of your relatives that want to start a fight with you because somebody did this, somebody don't like you, this happened 20 years ago. You don't want to do that. Go to your room. Take your plate to your room, and they'll get the picture, because I've done that many a time. My son's here and they want to act up. I take my action straight to my room, and I'm enjoying me. My son will come back there and say, oh, I'm sorry, Mama, you upset? I said, no, I just knew what to do to stay out of the range of fire. I don't need you to mess with my with my mind. So Ed, I want to give this back to you. I want to thank you for listening, and I hope everybody got everything out of it.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Williams. That was a great topic, great show, and great information too. And again, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be posting this again. It's on YouTube as well as on the website, lupusofnevada.org. You want to support what we do and what we have here at Lupus Talks, you can go to the website at lupusofnevada.org and support us there. Give information. If you have any questions or inquiries, you can do that too. And that's going to help everybody in reference to that. So with that, I want to thank everyone for this edition of Lupus Talks. Tune in with us again next week. We'll be doing some more. But our show is going to short down for the holidays for the this year 30 minutes instead of an hour. So we're going to cut it down for 30-minute shows because I've noticed that a lot of people have a lot of things to do. We want to get the mainstream people on so that way they can get information more faster and quicker. So with that being said, we'll be showcasing this on our website and then also on our YouTube channel and as well as on Facebook too. So you can go to Facebook as well for Lupus of Nevada and get on that page. But as we close out the year, we want to do this on the level so we can roll into 2025 with a new objective, new mission, continued mission, but new attitude in reference to how we're going to reach more people across the country.
Absolutely.
So that's going to be an impactful thing. We want to do this for each and every one across the country so that way everybody can be in a shared space where we get good information, right information that's going to benefit everybody as a whole. With that, I want to thank you all for tuning in.
I want to thank Dolores. She wasn't able to be with us today, but I want to thank her for her.
Hello. I've been on everything. I have connection problems, but I've been on. I guess I'm just trying to get used to this iPhone, so it kept on knocking me off. And but I've been on for a long time.
Okay.
It's just I was getting knocked out. It was some very helpful information, and that's why I was putting it in the chat because I noticed that it didn't mark me down. Well, that's why. But I noticed when I put it in the chat, it got me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for you. Good. Well, again, we want to thank each and every one for, of course, Dr. Calvin Williams, Mr. Lawrence Olson, for our host and guest host of the show for Lupus Talks. And again, ladies and gentlemen, you can always get the information if you have any questions or inquiries. Go to the website, lupusofnevada.org. Dr. Williams do have those books out, Loving God While Living with Lupus.
Chris and Christina.
You can always get that book. I mean, it's a great read. So you want to make sure that you participate in what good information that's going to benefit you all as a whole. And
Sarah Christian Magazine. We need to talk. We need to have
that's
that.
Right. Yes. My sister from
you were the first one on. You were the first one on.
Yeah, the first male on the front page of the magazine. With Miss Cherie Carradine, my sister from Oklahoma, we want to make sure everybody gets the information right, and what she does on this magazine has really been beneficial. So we're going to be co-oping with her. I'm actually going to have her on the show, on my show. My show is DTE Pro Network Podcast. But here's the thing. I'm getting a lot of people to talk about their businesses, reference to everything that they do across the country. Really? That's going to be and help everybody. So I'm going to have Dr. Williams on the show. I had on my show once before, back in when we started in 2012. I had Dr. Williams on my show, and we talked about obtaining a 501c3 and how she was very intricate in sharing that information for people who want to start their own nonprofits. We're still going to be doing that series again. I got a lot of hits and a lot of inquiries about that series. And I was asked again when we're going to have it again. I'm going to have my partner in crime over here, Miss Dr. Williams. So she's going to be the one to educate everybody on that level. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen, wherever community you see there's a lack in, and that you don't have the benefits or the funding or any resources there, that's where you become an advocate for that community, helping out in that community, looking at your local businesses, your churches, and other nonprofits in the community. See where you can go in and build up a base for you to build something that you don't see there that needs to be. It's going to be taken up to us to do it, ladies and gentlemen. We can't rely on others to do it. We have to step up and do it ourselves. So with that, I want to thank each and every one for tuning in. We'll see you guys again next week. And you guys have a blessed holiday. It's a lot to be thankful for this Thanksgiving. So I want to say I'm thankful for everybody and everything that I've been able to receive and have today. And as well as Sister Dolores Olson, Dr. Williams, thank you.
Thank you
for this and for all that you guys do on a consistent basis. You can see Ms. Dolores Olson on social media, on her Facebook page as well. She got something going on behalf of what she does as well. So we all have projects that we're doing to help in the communities and give information to people across the globe. So this is going to be a great benefit for everybody tuning in to us and listening and sharing information. And we love the feedback. And if you can send that back to us, we thank you. We want to continue to share and give you the good news as we get it. Thank you all.
Can I add
Go
something?
Yeah, go ahead.
You're going to be doing a flyer, that special thing that's coming out that Holy Spirit told me not to mention. You're going to be doing that nice flyer to that, but it's going to be a major thing all around the world. So it's coming. I'm no longer doing lupus inspirational services, but something is major is coming.
Yes. Yes, okay. We're going to have that, and then the podcast associated with it, along with that, will be also on top of that too as well. So with that, we want to thank you all. Y'all have a great afternoon, evening, and we'll see you again next week.
Thank you. God bless y'all. Bye.